microphones, but there's no other option. I am Celine from Aditus. I'm responsible for the internationalization of the company. Aditus is an event tech company. Who would have guessed it today? We do event registration, we do event marketing, and we do on-site solutions. So really an all-in-one platform. Since 25 years, we're not a startup. We look like one, and sometimes we pretend we are one with all our innovations. And we just want to show you what magic happens when you connect LinkedIn to actually a registration process. Because, quick question, we want to keep this interactive as well. Who thinks events like this or others are still disconnected in all the tech we're using? Thank you. And that's what we want to change.
So we are definitely going to talk about what's really close to our hearts, which is building communities through events. And more specifically, we are going to touch today on why is even LinkedIn playing in the event space, in the event industry. What do attendees and organizers want? What keeps you up at night? The integration, as Celine mentioned, the case study that Celine will share that will bring it all to life. And at the end, I'll share a little bit of kind of best practices that I've found on sharing meaningful content on the platform, specifically for event organizers. So basically, why is LinkedIn an event? And I have to start here by celebrating a moment that we just hit our 1 billion members on the platform.
Ooh.
And thank you. And for us, I have to say, working almost 2 years at LinkedIn, it's really not just a number. Every member that joins the platform, for us, it means more opportunities that are opening up. And we genuinely care about the value that we create for our members. So I'd love to also hear from you, maybe after the session today, how you view the platform, specifically about events, but also generally speaking. I always like to hear from our members, assuming that you're all on LinkedIn. By the way, how many people here do not have a LinkedIn profile? Okay, so I'm in a good space. So why is LinkedIn an event? If you think about it, event is where people coming together to share knowledge, right? They're coming around kind of things that are common to them and content that they want to share. And this is really where communities are being created and fueled. So for us at LinkedIn, if you look at our mission and vision to create economic opportunities through connections, this is where, event is where this is all happening. And that's why we're very, very keen to operate in this space and make sure that, we build and fuel event communities. Now, if we think about, ourselves and what we care about when we come to an event like this. We talk to many ticketing platforms, to many event management apps, to many event organizers. And we realize that at the core of our needs is to build professional communities so we can learn, so we can sell, so we can partner. And also, events for us is also a marketing tool. If you think about it, it's a way of an organization to build trust with their consumers, to create connections and bring business value, and make sure that they grow their audience. So if I think about myself today at Event Tech Live, why did I come here? I came here to meet, people such as yourself, to grow my network, to learn a little bit, to collect some insights so I can share back with my team. And if you look at the kind of flow of how I registered and, how I'm actually doing that. So I register on the registration site. Then I look up who the speakers are, because I could not see who the attendees are, but I could see who the speakers are. And so I look them up on LinkedIn. I share the event widely with my network on my feed. And before the conference, I check the program and kind of think, what sessions I want to see and what session I want to attend. And then I come here today and I attend probably roughly about 3 sessions, and I meet about 10 stakeholders that are relevant to me, and then we connect on LinkedIn. And after today, I'm pretty sure that Eventec Live will share kind of a post summarizing today's event. So I will follow that post as well, and then I'll follow up with all the connections that I've made. So you could see that, we are building connections here, but I'm sure there are so many connections that are being missed, right? Because the kind of process is still a little bit fragmented, and because we don't know exactly who is in the room and who we missed. Yes, we have all these amazing booths here, but I'm sure we have also individuals that are running around that we don't get to know. And I guess that's one of the things that when we talk to event organizers and ticketing platforms and so on, we realize that really what is missing still is for attendees when they come to events is understanding who is there, who is in the room, and if they do have a list, then how relevant they are to me, right? I don't know exactly, about the profile, where they work, where they used to work, what industry they are in, and even if I do have all of that, then how do I carry forward the conversation beyond the life of the event, right? The event is finished, we all go home. How do we make sure that we connect? And this is kind of partly what we are trying to solve. So LinkedIn, how many of you used LinkedIn event pages? Can you kind of, oh wow, okay, that's great to know. So we've got the event pages, right? And this is a feature that's free for everyone to use, to create events, to join events. And what it allows you is to share the event widely with your network in all these different ways. It allows you to share some content in the comments feature of the event page. And it allows you to network, to understand who is coming to the event, how relevant they are to you. So all these things exist there. But we wanted, as a business development team, we wanted to understand how we can take this forward, how we can make sure that event organizers really leverage our platform and really reach a wide network of attendees, and how attendees can also network between themselves. So essentially, what we really wanted to do is to connect the digital network of LinkedIn to the in-person experience and build that digital layer of community on top of your events. So we've created an integration, very exciting integration. At the moment, it sits with a number of partners that we have, but certainly if you're interested to know a little bit more about it, I'm happy to share with you who our partners are and how you can utilize it. So at the core of this integration is really creating a digital community layer, as I said, for your events. So let's see how it works. Very simply, at the end of the registration flow, an attendee will see an iframe that invites them to also join the event on LinkedIn. And what it does, it allows you as an event organizer to activate your attendees as ambassadors for your event, as an engaged community that can interact and increase the business value that it's getting from your event. So we've piloted it in India, in Germany, in Brazil. We've seen great feedback, and also the metrics speak for themselves. We are seeing a really huge increase in the number of connections that are happening through the event page, in the visibility of the event as well on the platform, and we have different ways to measure that. But we got one piece of feedback, which was, how can we then make sure that the engagement of the organizer remains with the attendees? Because once the event is finished, how can we make sure that we maintain that engagement? So we introduced another iframe to that integration, another call to action that invites the attendees to also follow the organizer company page on LinkedIn, which then makes sure that it creates a lasting engagement also after the event is finished. In addition to following the organizer company page, you can also follow up to 5 speakers of the event, and also the group on LinkedIn if you have one. So just looking at kind of the value that we're seeing from this integration, it's about multiplying organic reach because you are tapping into a very, very huge global network of professionals, boosting networking and lasting brand engagement, depth of knowledge that you're gaining about the attendees, and the additional metrics that I mentioned that we can measure through the integration. So I'll pass it on to Celine now to talk about Aditus and LinkedIn partnership and how it comes to life.
Let me just stand here. I don't like sitting too much. First of all, we were super delighted to be the very first partner that has been integrated with the LinkedIn Community Builder in terms of event registration. That says a little bit about us. I mentioned we are a full-service platform for trade shows and events, all in registration, marketing, and on-site solutions. However, our vision is really, we want to be the most innovative partner. We want to be the first to give you all these cool things that open and shut. And yeah, we want to be the market leader in Europe. We do the biggest trade shows in Germany already. Bauma, I don't know if you know the big Bauma, the big building show where 150,000 people stream through the doors on the first day. But also, and I think this is super important in our industry, we want to be reliable. We want to be flexible because every event is so special that everyone has different special needs for their event. And we still want to maintain innovative. So this is our mission, our daily mission. And all that we want you to measure is basically your success and your growth, whether it's exhibitor growth, visitor growth, and all that can grow. But here in this specific case, we want to measure the organic reach. So this is how it looks like. This is our registration flow, and it's really important that LinkedIn Events is anchored in the registration because this is where you get all the people from. Now, Eventec Live today, I haven't checked today, but I think there were 57 people attending on the LinkedIn event. This is not integrated into the registration, and this is really where the magic happens. When you integrate it, suddenly you have totally different numbers, and you can do your job before you go to an event. I always say, well, if I go to a trade show and I exhibit, I need 3 months before, and I want to know 3 months before who's coming and not just 3 hours before the event, or maybe 3 hours after the event, which is even worse. Eleanor mentioned it. So the one thing is joining the event in the registration, but then automatically, and these boxes are pre-ticked, they join the organizer of the event, they join a group, and they join up to 5 speakers that you can decide, or 5 people that are very special to your event. So this is not a problem. And we can talk a lot, but if we don't show the numbers and if we don't show how it works, I think no point. And we want to show you 2 results, and this is 2 recent results, and I think it's really important. If we come with case studies from 2 years ago, this is no point in our short-lived event tech industry, or tech industry in general. Both shows were in 2023, both in September. The IAA Mobility and then the Digital X. Who has not heard of any of these shows? They were both in Germany, the one in Munich. Perfect, that's good. Right, let's start with the first one then. The IAA is the International Automobile Exhibition. To keep it interactive, take a guess. I mean, who likes cars, first of all? Good, the women love cars. I love that. I mean, here you can see a beautiful car full of women. When do you think the first exhibition for cars happened? Shout it out. 1898. No. No. It was 1897. Where was it? You may answer. In Berlin, yeah, it was in Berlin, exactly. It's no longer in Berlin, sadly. But now, without any clues, how many cars do you think were exhibited? Ladies? 10? 5? Anyone else? 50? Gee, it's 1897. So it was 8 cars. 8 cars exhibited. Fascinating. So no longer in Berlin, moved to Frankfurt, no longer in Frankfurt, and it's now in Munich. And it's no longer called the Automobile Show, it is called the IAA Mobility. So the concept had to change because really our future, I don't think, is just cars to get from A to B. So complete mobility concept, fascinating show. 6 days, quite brave. The city was included as well as a trade show. So it was a B2B trade show, a B2C trade show, and a conference. 500,000 visitors, a hell of a lot of journalists actually, because there was so much to talk about. I mean, there was 300 new innovations that were launched. I mean, usually IAA was, okay, what is the newest model from Renault, Peugeot, from Porsche, whatever you want to drive. And now what did it do to the event? So using our registration, it's not by Messe Munich, it's at Messe Munich, but it's the VDA, by the way. It's the German Automotive Association who organizes it. But Messe Munich is a partner of this show. And I wanted to show you live in LinkedIn, but we have some technical problems what the actual page looks like. But if you connect with us, we will send you the page and you can actually look at it, what it did. But what happened? So I want to look at it 3 ways, because there was impact not just on an event page and not just in strong visibility for a brand and not just in connecting people. So it was really what happened to the event page, what happened to the company page, and what happened actually to the attendees and members. Right. Almost 3,000, depends on what rounding technology you use, joined a LinkedIn event automatically through the registration. Oh, the number is okay. 15,000 views of the event page. I think that number is already getting fantastic. Now 227 people reposted that event, which, depending on how many connections per person you assume, we have roughly 170,000 reach of the repost. So you can take a lot of content to a lot of people, even if you hardly don't do anything on that LinkedIn event page. But what happened to the company page? 3,300 more followers. So this was the first time this was connected to the registration of a company that exists for a pretty long time. Is followed quite considerably already, but that meant a 10% increase of your company followers through linking it through the registration. So we have banks here today, we have organizers, we have tech companies. What would you give for a 10% increase of your followers today? How much would you pay me? You would pay me some money if I say, well, I give you followers that actually make sense to be your followers and that are interested in your products. It's quite hard to raise your LinkedIn profile that considerably. By the way, LinkedIn made this free of charge, the LinkedIn Community Builder. We made it free of charge as well within our registration. I think that is important because really we want to contribute to the success of your shows. Right, but most important, visitor first. We keep hearing it, the UFI conference, beginning of the month. Visitor first was the topic. 4,600 connections between the people, but 113,000 interactions just from one page is quite considerable. And 16,000, a little bit more profile views. I think it speaks for itself that the community builder works, and it just works better when it's integrated into the registration. Now, this was back to the automobile show again. This was a huge show, 500,000 visitors, okay? We can get big numbers out of there. That's why I want to talk about a smaller show, the Digital X. So Digital X is organized by Telekom. Telekom is the market-leading telecommunications provider in Germany. And they basically set out and said, well, we have an initiative for all these medium and small companies, and we want to digitalize them, and we just want to help them. But that actually turned into this festival. So this festival is happening, and this is also super interesting for event organizers, because the festival is happening right across the city of Cologne. Anyone from Cologne here? This morning we sat in the DLR, and there were like at least 6 people from Cologne. Now where are they? Anyway, so across the entire city of Cologne, you can see it here with George Clooney. George Clooney also made it happen. They're using shops, they're using little cafes and so on to make this event, to make this festival of digitalization happen. They are sold out since 2 years, 50,000 visitors. So we're not talking about 500,000 visitors anymore. We're talking about 50,000 visitors. We have 6 stages. We have 250 speakers. So it's a classic event. We have, however, 2 million square meters of event space, which is quite cool. What happens to Digital X now? Do you think the numbers will be lower? Because it's obviously just 10% of visitors. Why wouldn't you think so? I mean, we had 500,000 visitors, and then we have 50,000 visitors. It is a difference. Anyway, they are not lower, they are actually higher. So that tells us it works just for any event format you're looking for. Over 3,000 joined a LinkedIn event. And by the way, 90% of those people came through the registration. You don't need to go through a registration to join an event on LinkedIn, but 90% joined from the registration. Similar numbers of repost reach, don't need to tell you that. Similar number of followers, but what did it do to Telekom or to Digital X and the group? It was a 16% increase through one event. When we got the numbers, I called them up and said, can we please use them for your case study? And I thought, big telecoms provider, maybe they don't want us to talk about numbers, but they were super happy and they said, absolutely, you may use them. Members and attendees, similar numbers than you saw at the IAA. So it doesn't matter what event size it is. It really works to connect it properly, just to connect it. I mean, I asked you before, do you think there's too much disconnect in all the apps we're using? We have here an event app, then we have a lead tracking app, then we have LinkedIn events, and then we have obviously LinkedIn. So I think it just needs to be connected better, and that is what we're here for. But back to Eleanor.
Amazing. Thank you so much for bringing it to life for us. So I want to speak a little bit about how to build an event community when you're actually in the page, because this is something that quite a lot of organizers ask us. Okay, we have the page, great, but what do we do with it? So I'd like to kind of start with 2 main points that I want to highlight when it comes to marketing our events. So we know that kind of the traditional way of marketing when it comes to ads, cold calling, we're kind of shifting from that, and we're moving into content creation. At least that's what we're seeing on the platform. In fact, we are referring to event organizers as content creators, and I want you to keep this in mind, because this is really where we can leverage our stakeholders, whether it's the VIPs, the attendees, the speakers, the sponsors, and ensure that we enable them to share content that's related to the event, because that's very, very powerful. The second kind of principal point that I wanted to highlight is, by the way, this is relevant to any content that you share on the platform. It's about moving away from the number of clicks into that your post is generating into the value that your post is creating. Because remember, you want to create a community, an engaged community. So it is all about adding value to the people that you want to attract. And by value, I always like to kind of, in my mind at least, to kind of split it into two buckets. So the first bucket is about industry insights. You're all experts in your industry, so share it. 5 top tips on, this is how you do X. Or I've been to Event Tech Live today, and this is what I've learned. So this type of content, or company content, or updates, product update services, awards, whatever it is that's relevant to your industry. The second bucket, which perhaps doesn't come very easily to a lot of people, but it is something that's very valued on our platform. It's about professional development for you as an individual in your industry. And it goes back to what I mentioned before about the mission and vision of LinkedIn is about creating economic opportunities for people, and that's why the platform really, really values and ranks high. If you share your leadership tips, or team building, or any even skills that you want to teach other people, this is something that highly, highly valued, and because it can help someone that perhaps behind you in their journey, or sharing a similar challenge, it can help them in their career growth. So these are the two buckets when we're thinking about content. But more specifically to events, what I've done is I looked at event pages that are successful, that generate a lot of content, and I kind of put for you a list of things that I found that are successful, that work well. You can also scan the QR code, and there you can find kind of a booklet with some of those tips. So first of all, it's about kind of launching the social media campaign and driving people to your LinkedIn event page. And I think Viva Technology did it really, really well. And it's really simple content. Stay up to date with all the latest announcements and news by following the LinkedIn event page. Very, very simple, and use the hashtag always, and encourage people to use the hashtag. Then it's about empowering others in your network. So here we're talking about drafting a post for attendees and for speakers. Make it as easy for people as possible to share content on your behalf. And of course, they are experts themselves, so I'm sure they'll be able to take it to the next level. And tag speakers and relevant attendees and reply to comments. Then it's about posting your own content. And again, as Celine said, this event page, especially with the integration, it's at the very minimum, it acts on your behalf because it's there, it's a presence on LinkedIn. But if you want to take it one step further, you can share content. For example, you can repurpose posts that you're already using on your company page. You can share there, announce new speakers or new sessions, post some videos that you're doing. One thing that I really like is to see shout out to last year's success, because this shows people that you already, made something successful last year. So, put some photos as testimonials, industry trends, and devise a coordinated countdown. I saw Adam Perry, who's organizing today's event, yesterday. I saw him putting a photo of the banner, or showing how this place is coming to life. And I think this is really, really great, because people really appreciate the effort that you're making behind the scenes. So it's great to kind of bring them on that journey. And the last thing after the event, to share content, repurpose content by users, create summaries, re-engage the event communities by promoting your next one. All of these things we need to kind of keep in mind. They're quite simple to implement, and you can really create yourself almost like a playbook or a blueprint on how to do that, and kind of do it for every event that you do. So kind of just to summarize, we are supporting more than 1,000 events globally now via 28 partners. So if you have an event that you are interested in, perhaps you're using one of our partners, would be very, very happy to activate Community Builder for you. And of course, any other questions that you have, feel free. We can take them now if you want, or after the event as well. Celine, anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something here. So if you, for example, have B2B trade shows, you have exhibitors. This is a platform for exhibitors too. This is a platform for your sponsors that are sponsoring your event, because they're always looking for things to do. Well, we're hoping for the engagement. And we see a big disconnect between the engagement we would like to see and the engagement that is happening. But often it's because we don't give them the right tools, and that is the easiest tool. And it even works if you put the minimum time into that show as well. Yeah, but maybe the three things I want you to go away with is organic reach. This is magic for organic reach. Events are events, trade shows, whatever format of event you have is the highest form of trust for marketing. So also please charge for your shows, because it's the highest form of trust, really, we can charge for events. And yeah, empower and connect.
Absolutely.
Take some questions. So please upvote. Here's the questions. The first one we've got is, we use focus company pages on LinkedIn, but not event pages. Can we use the community builder without an event on LinkedIn?
No, technically it's not possible, because the community builder integrates the event page with your registration site. So you'll have to have an event page, which is, by the way, takes 2 minutes to set up.
Cool. The next question. What is required to implement the community builder? Can I do it myself? For example, on the confirmation page after registration?
So essentially, you'll need to use one of our partners, which are, as I said, 28 ticketing and registration platforms globally. So if you are using them, they can very easily just activate it for you. At the end of the registration flow, your attendees will see that iframe that I showed earlier. That will invite them to then join the LinkedIn event page and also follow your company page, which activates them as ambassadors, and also in a way converts them into followers, which is fantastic.
You had a question about the examples there, the case studies. Did you sponsor the LinkedIn event for IAA Mobility, or was this all organic engagement?
So the LinkedIn Community Builder is organic engagement. Nobody needs to sponsor anything. They are our client. It is set up in the registration, and I mentioned it is free of charge, so we do not charge anyone to set up the LinkedIn Community Builder. So no sponsorship.
Are the communities open to everyone? Can they find it and join?
The event page is for everyone to see. That's the kind of the magic, right? If it exists on LinkedIn and open for everyone to see. And if someone joins the event page, then they'll be able to see the comments. So it's very, very visible. And actually, that's a very good point, because I think the event pages on LinkedIn are very, very powerful for events that are public facing, where you want to grow your audience, when you want to grow brand awareness. It's perhaps less relevant for closed kind of company events, right? It's more about public facing and wanting to show the engagement that's happening around your event.
Next question, why do we need to use a registration partner? Is data sent over from registration to LinkedIn?
So if I understand correctly the question, so there's no data that's being shared because essentially the attendees, they opt in to join as members to LinkedIn. So there's no data that's being shared. The reason that we have to use a partner is just technically because it links the registration site with LinkedIn.
And so does the user have to be logged in
to LinkedIn?
LinkedIn?
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Next one, how do I make sure only ticketed people can interact?
Do you mean people who bought the ticket?
I think that was a
yeah,
question.
so if you think about it, it's your attendees that have registered already, and they're the ones who are being driven into the LinkedIn event page. So they're the majority who are interacting. Of course, we see a certain percentage of LinkedIn members who are coming into the event page, which is great for you, right? Because you want to drive new engagement. And the idea is that, when they see the LinkedIn event page, they will then go to the link, to the registration link, and register. But essentially, you don't have kind of a way to know who bought a ticket, and who didn't, but you can. But majority of the people would have bought a ticket because that's how they got there.
Do you see the same results when there is an extra step in the registration process? For example, for events where only specific people can come, they register, then wait to find out if they've been accepted to attend.
I'm not sure I understood the question. So
you have an accreditation process?
Yeah,
before?
when there's an approval process for the event to attend.
So in general, obviously approval process is no problem. Where we put a LinkedIn page, we are a little bit flexible to put the integration on the page, so we can streamline that process the way you want. However, the LinkedIn event is, as Eleanor mentioned, open and visible for everything, because it's also used as brand awareness and marketing and so on, not just as content discussion portals.
Got a good question here.
The others are also good.
They're all good.
So will this allow random people on LinkedIn, competitors and not sponsors, to engage my buyers?
Yeah, I get that question sometimes from, quite kind of people who are very concerned with, other people seeing who is coming to their event. Look, everything on LinkedIn, it's kind of public facing, right? People can see who are your employees. People can see, who is in your network. I think that's kind of the magic of LinkedIn, and that's the magic of social marketing. So if you are very, very concerned of people seeing who is engaged, then perhaps social marketing is not for you. But this is something that actually it's not a risk that we are seeing at all. If at all, this is a value. There's much more value here about shouting out to the public network of LinkedIn about your event, rather than to hide it and for no one to see it and no one speaks about it, because then you're kind of defeating the purpose in a way.
Absolutely. And how much effort is it for a registration partner to implement the community builder?
So it's super easy, because it's, I don't know how technical you are, but it's an HTML code that you just need to, the partner, the ticketing platform needs to kind of copy. So it's very, very easy, and I see here quite a few of our partners, so they can testify to that. And so either you already activate it with an existing partner, or if you want to become a partner, please come to me. Very happy to chat about it.
Will LinkedIn do what Facebook did and start charging for access to communities?
Well, I can't comment on that. I don't know what on our roadmap with charging and so on. I know that we are very focused on our premium membership, for example, that enables access to so many features. I can't comment on because I genuinely do not know.
Thanks for all the questions. Really great questions. Last one I've got here. Can you pay to promote the LinkedIn event page? How do you get the most reach and impressions for the event page, if not?
Yeah, so that's a really great question, because lately I started working with our ad campaign departments within LinkedIn, because what we find is that it's amazing, it's a very powerful thing to complement the event page with paid ads. Again, not for everyone, and the event page is amazing for organic reach that's free of charge, but if someone wants to give that extra boost, then our ads is also great. And so we have the ads campaign that every company page can use. And of course, above a certain spend, you will get your account manager that can then consult and you know, advise on how to best create a campaign around your event.
That's it. That's all the questions we've got. Really great questions. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for attending.
Thank you very
much. Round of applause
much.
for a really great
audience.
session.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And the way Eleanor and I discuss on a weekly basis, I think the LinkedIn Community Builder version 3.0 is not far out.
Lovely.
Thanks for
And
joining.
thank you very much to Aditus, our wonderful
and
partner.
here, by the way,
Wow.
meet Speedy.
Wow.
And here is the CEO of Aditus.
I love it.
Great. And
Just based C14. Come and see us if you want to find out more.
back at 11 talking about the metaverse. Thanks for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.